how's it going? And welcome to the Guitar Effect. My name's Rob. So before I get into today's video, I have a bit of housekeeping to do. I want to apologise to my regular viewers because I haven't made a video in I think 2 months, maybe even 9 weeks, something like that. And I want to just explain the reasons for that. So the first one is my band has been really busy. We went over to Germany in March and recorded a new record. And we've been promoting that record and playing a load of shows. So it's been very hard for me to find the time to be able to do any Guitar Effect stuff. So that's the first reason. The second reason is I'm a dad and both my kids were off school for the whole summer, which just made doing anything during the day absolutely impossible. So that's the two reasons. But they're going back to school now and things have calmed down a little bit with the band. And so I'm able to start making videos again. So with that in mind, apologies again to my regular viewers about people who have been asking me what my videos were. That's why. Okay, so for my first video back, I suppose, I'm making a video about a pedalboard. And before I get into that, I'll ask you to please like and subscribe. And hit the notifications bell while you're at it so you can be kept up to date every time I put out a new video, which will hopefully be more frequently than it has been for the past 2 months. So, the pedalboard in question is a small little fly rig that I've built because, as I mentioned earlier, I went over to Germany to record, and while we were there we played a show and it went really well, so we're going to go over to Germany to play some more shows. And to do that I need a little pedalboard. Incidentally, I found while trying to plan for that trip that when flying sort of in domestic European airlines, you can bring one cabin bag with you that's the small sort of personal size suitcase. And in order for handiness sake, I wanted to put my pedalboard into that on my regular pedalboard, which I'll put on screen now. This is my regular sort of gigging pedalboard. It includes the HX effects, the IR200, the OD200 and the RC5. This fits in a pedalboard or a Pedaltrain Metro 24, which is way too big to fit in a personal suitcase. So I found out that a Pedaltrain Metro 16 will actually fit perfectly in that suitcase. So I thought, right, okay, this is the opportunity for me to put something on a Pedaltrain Metro 16. But the other thing is, the HX effects is incredibly heavy as pedals go. And putting it on a Metro 16 with the OD200 would mean a couple of different things. It would mean I'd have to disassemble and reassemble my main pedalboard loads. And also it would still be very heavy. So I decided to put together a new pedalboard. And the other consideration I wanted to do it for as cheap as humanly possible in case the pedalboard got lost or got damaged by being in transit or whatever. And also I wanted to try and get stuff that I could replace handily enough if something got broken. So this is the pedalboard in question. Okay, so it's a Digitech RP360 with the FS3X foot switch. You've got a Mosky Silver Horse clone. You've got a Mosky Amp Turbo, which is a Love Pedal Amp 11 clone. And then you've got a Mosky Mini Muff, is that what it's called? Yeah, Mini Muff. Big muff clone here, right? And then the signal goes in here, into the RP360, and then out of the RP360 into whatever amp I'm going to be using. Okay. So, this is actually really light. Like, I'd say it weighs about the same as the HX effects by itself. So I guess the first thing we should do is take a listen to it in the track. So normally when I demo a piece of gear in a track, I'll try to make that piece of gear sound the best it can. But what I wanted to do in this track is pick a track that has a lot of different stuff going on and then show you how this pedalboard can cover off all that. Okay, so I can listen to that first of all. can see it has enough tonal flexibility to be able to do a lot of different things, and you'll hear more of that when I get into the audio demo in a sec. Just before I do, the other thing is I've picked up a few of the little Palmer Power Bay things, right? And what they are is it's basically an isolation box. It's an isolated daisy chain, basically. So you can plug in, I think, up to 1500 milliamps. And then out of that, it has 4 power outputs at 9 volts at whatever milliampage you want. And what it does is it isolates those 4 outputs. They're about €60, which is amazing. So I have one powering the RP360, which is about 500 milliamps, and then I have one powering a daisy chain that's powering the muff, the amp turbo, and the silver horse. And it's all wired with like the Thomann flat patch cables. And I think, and then the other thing is, right, so I'm going to add it up now. The RP360 I paid €75 for second hand, which is unbelievable. The mini muff, I think they're about maybe €20. So that's €95, call it €100, 120 then with the Clon, the Silver Horse, and then 160 with the amp turbo. So that's all the pedals, and then the foot switch costs about €40, and the power supply costs about €60. So that's €260 for the whole thing, not counting the pedal board itself. You can pick up a second-hand Metro 16 for about €40, I think. So you're talking about £300 for the whole thing, which is less than you'd pay for. It's less than half you'd pay. Well, so it's definitely less than what you pay for a second-hand HX Effects by itself. Now, the HX Effects, which is effectively can do what everything here is doing and do it a lot better, is an amazing piece of kit, and it's not in the same league technologically or sonically as the equipment on this board. But what I needed to be able to do was I needed to be able to select a song and set the delay, modulation and reverb specifically for that song, and then be able to cycle through those songs in the set. So I put the board to the ground, plug it in, get ready to go, first song, and then hit the up switch on. I'll show you. And again, I go through this in the audio now. So you plug it in, and then you select the first song here, and you press the up switch, and it goes to the next song, next song, next song. But hit the up switch, hit the down switch, and it goes to the previous song. So I can cycle through my whole set, and every song has the correct delay, reverb, and modulation set on these 3 switches. Simple. Really, really great user interface. And that's why I bought it. I think you can do the same thing, with the Zoom G3, the old Zoom G3. But I'm not sure it can take the up and down foot switch. I think it might be able to. The only bad thing about the RP360 is it's bloody enormous. Like for what it is, it's huge. It's almost the size of the HX Effects. It's not got nearly the amount of foot switches or the usability, but the reverb and delays both sound great. Some of the modulation effects sound good. Some of them sound woeful, awful. The rotary is crap. And the up and down foot switch thing on the side is really useful, and then the third switch you can use to activate the looper, which when you're just jamming at home is really handy. So all in all, it's light, it's cheap, it's easily replaceable, maybe by the RP360 because it's not made anymore, but you could use one of the Valiton multi-effects that you can get, which again would be more expensive than that. But I think that, or a Zoom G3, or some sort of 5-6-year-old multi-effects unit that has the ability to load up individual songs one after the other would effectively serve the same purpose. So there you go. Let's have a listen to it now and see what you think. Okay, so to demo the pedalboard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to demo it in the way I would use it were I to go to a travel gig. So I have my guitar with a wireless lead going into the Mosky Silver Horse, which is like the input point on the pedalboard, through the Silver Horse, through the amp turbo, through the mini muff, into the RP360, and then out into the Koch Studio 120 head, which is running directly into my interface via the emulated output, right? Now, I have the RP60 set to bypass, which means that like the signal's going into it and going out of it. It's not going through any effects. And it's not going through any processing at all. It's just going straight through it, right? And so nothing is on basically at the moment, and my sound is like this. So it's like a little bit driven. By the way, this is my new Gretsch, I think it's 5622. I only got this guitar the weekend, and it's fabulous. As you can see, there's a bit of poke on the amp. I roll the volume back a little bit. it's clean, but with the volume up full. And that is the kind of sound that I want as a starting point were to get a house amp at a gig. So I step on a switch, and right now, straight away, there's like the tiniest little perceivable drop off in volume when the RP60 is engaged. Now that's fine. It's not so much that it would be a problem for me. Any drop off in volume or tone sucking, as people might say, is it's fine. You know, it's not a problem for me compared to what the RP360 can do and how much it costs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the individual effects, the outboard pedals, and I'm going to show how I use the RP360, right? So, bridge pickup on the Gretsch, that's just straight. Adding the kind of clone, the Mosky Silver Horse. It just kind of boosts the upper mids like slightly and gives it a bit of drive. Makes for a lovely sort of picking sound. Okay, and that's what that does. I have the gain set to 1/4 and the output just past straight and the treble boosted. Then we come to my main overdrive, which is just amp turbo. Feeds up nice. Nice relief passages by itself. It's really nice. I also have a boost without the boost. With the boost. I really like boost, you know, as a kind of a light overdrive sound. It's just driving the front end of the amp. I have that boost has massive headroom, so I have it down really, really low. And then the last pedal I have here is the muff. So in terms of combining them, the muff and the clong combine really nicely. So that's the two together with it. And with it. It sort of rounds it out or something, just takes the scoop thing away and adds a bit of kind of punchy mids. Really, really like those two together. So they're all the drive sounds that I have available, which is, you know, quite a lot. And, you know, I can take the amp turbo here, combine it with the clone. It's a really nice lead sound. So going on from there, we get onto the RP360. So, as I mentioned in the intro, I also have the FS3X foot switch here. So, and this is where it's kind of important to get into it, like I did in the beginning, why I need this board and how I use it. I need to be able to preset delay times. I need to be able to preset what particular modulation effect I want, because as you can see, I've got 3 switches right here. Each of these switches are going to turn on and off individual effects as I need them. And then I simply go up and down through songs with the up and down switches here, right? And that means that this board is fit for use. Now, how it's different, and again, I probably mentioned this in the intro already, how it's different is now I've got to like turn everything on as individual effects, where with my main big board, everything's controlled with presets. While I have a preset for song on this board, I don't have preset per part of song. I have to do everything individually, right? So in this first one, in Modern Disease, for example, this song starts off, so I'll just show you what I have. I have a delay and a reverb there. I'll start with just a reverb. Spring reverb, a delay. I think it's a tape delay. And then I have this rotary sound in the end. Now, I'm going to be honest here. This is a budget multi-effects unit. That rotary sound is rubbish. Like, it's really crap. Kind of sounds like a fast chorus, or... Whereas the delay and reverb, I think, are pretty good. So, how the song goes, it starts off with the delay off, the muff on, and the clone on. So there's a section that starts and goes. So turn on the delay when I come out of that section, turn off the muff, gets into the verse part. Then comes into the chorus and turn on the rotary. All the time the clone is on. Then we come into the solo part, turn off the rotary, turn on the draw. For the end chorus, I turned off the Mosky, or turned off the clone and gone with the heavier drive for the last chorus. It's like the first chorus, but a bit heavier. Okay, the reason I'm going through all that is it's important that I plan the switching that I have to do in the song using this board, because as I mentioned, I don't have presets per song part. So I try to have a maximum of 2 switches, because I'm still singing and delivering the show for each different part that I change. Okay, so that's the first song. We'll up to the next song. It's called Lonely Lives. Here I have, again, probably a bigger reverb this time. Not kind of comparable reverb. I have definitely a more pronounced delay. And then I have a phaser. How this song works, it starts off with the clone on, and it goes neck pickup. It's like the main riff in the song. Turn off the clone to get into the verse part. Did a little bit of drive coming from the amp. And in time, which is really important. Then I come to the chorus. Clone on. Delay still perfectly in time. Come into the middle later, turn on the phaser. Nice slow moving phaser that gives a kind of lovely texture to the part that's going. At the end of the song, you're back into the same sound as chorus. Okay, so the reason that I need the Digitech RP360 here is, so I've set up one sort of delay, a tape delay, I've set up a spring reverb, and I've set up a rotary on the first song, and in this second song I've set up a phaser, way more pronounced, spacey, long delay, and another spring reverb. If I was using individual pedals, I would literally have to bend down and tweak those pedals per song, right? And also they would cost way more. So that's why this works. So I'll go through another song here. There's one called Don't Look Down. So as you can see, all 3 switches are on at the beginning of this song, and this song has a univibe in it. And back pickup with the clone on sounds like this, got a riff in it, it goes. Maybe I could have a bit more of that. Switch on the boost and you have the same type of clone sound, but just a bit louder and a bit dirtier. The verse, just switch off the boost. Actually switch off the clone. We come into the middle 8, turn on the header drive. And after that, we come into this lead section, so I'll turn on the boost on the pedal. Artificial harmonic that I don't know how to. So as you can see there, again, it's pretty simple switching from one part to the next. Now there are a few things, like when I'm playing that song with either of my regular pedal boards, there's an octave. It's a fake 12 string sound basically that I use for that riff part that goes I don't have an octave that can track well enough in any of this gear to do that. But it's not, you know, if I'm going away to play one gig, it's not an absolute must. If I was going to be traveling more regularly, I'd probably pimp this up a bit, go for some slightly better things. But for once or twice a year, it's going to absolutely do fine. So yeah, you can see all the different stuff works really, really well. The switching is good. Oh, and then also there's this cool thing of I can record a guys have no overlines. And that's just handy. It just so happens that the third switch on the FX3X activates the looper, which is really clever. So yeah, serves the purpose really well. So there you go. I mean, if you need to build a small, affordable fly rig that does presets per song, you know, which is what I would have liked, but I would have liked individual switches to turn on and off loads of stuff. But you can't afford to spend a lot of money on it. I think 300 quid for this whole setup is pretty decent, actually, second hand. So I would recommend it. And I've yet to bring it to Germany to see how it's going to fare. But I think it's going to work out pretty well. And I've brought it out to our rehearsal room and I've jammed through the whole set with it and it works perfectly well. So yeah, I think if you're looking for a fly rig, definitely a Metro 16 will fit in your suitcase, and just keep the stuff that's on it as light as humanly possible. And this is able to do a lot of stuff. So yeah, there you go. That's my travel pedalboard. So thanks for watching. Specifically, I want to thank everybody who's come back after me being gone for so long, if you have done. And any questions or comments about the board or about anything else, throw them in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe. And I guess I'll see you in another video again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.